everyone, and welcome to Daily Newspaper Analysis, which is brought to you by LawSikho. So today we will discuss the newspaper articles for 14th and 16th August, that is for the last Saturday, and today, that is Monday. So this is the newspaper article which we will be discussing today from the previous day. That is what Kabul means in Delhi. So this was taken from the Hindu newspaper. And this talks in relation with the new advancements that have taken place in regards to Taliban and its movement that has grown up in the Afghanistan. And this is the article from today's Indian Express, which is titled as Our GDP Needs the HDP. So here we are saying that the gross domestic product, the calculation needs for better and more enhanced results, we need to bring in the human development product as well. So what are the prospects of that? We will discuss in here. So this newspaper analysis is presented by me. My name is Sheva Khan. I am a law graduate and had completed my law degree from the Uttarakhand University in the year 2019 with a gold medal in my batch. I have also been a national debater and a public speaker, and here at LawSikho, I'm working as the manager for current affairs vertical. I guess you are listening my voice after a long time because I had a very sore throat, and I really, ask for pardon and apology if in today also you have to bear with me with the voice that I have. Really sorry about that in advance. So if you wish to connect with me, you can find me on my Twitter as well as LinkedIn handles. The links to both are available in the description box below. Let's see what is the multiple choice question from previous discussions. E-rupee, recently seen in news, is your options are digital health card, online payment system, migrant portal, or none of the above. If you know the answer, you can put it down in the comment section below. This is the descriptive question for the day. How do you think that the growing influence of Taliban in Afghanistan can affect the Indian peace and investment? With this, let's discuss the first article of the day, which talks about the Taliban in Kabul. Now, as we have previously discussed as well, that now the US troops have started withdrawing themselves and they have almost withdrawn now from Afghanistan, due to which there has been a great tussle between the electorally chosen government and the Taliban. Now, as we know that many people have different contentions for Taliban, but more or less it's considered to be as a militia. Basically a terrorist group, we can also call it as. And there what has been seen, unfortunately, is that the president Ashraf Ghani of Afghanistan has actually fled the country, due to which the control of Taliban has increased fold-some. And now what has happened is that Taliban has had huge control over the entire major areas of Afghanistan. Now, as we know that the Taliban has entered the outlying districts of Kabul and has issued a formal declaration for the completion of a transition process with an interim government of 6 months. So let's understand that what are the immediate challenges which are being faced by the people of Afghanistan. The first and the foremost and the most disastrous one, the challenge is of massive humanitarian crisis, which is actually taking place on account of those that are internally displaced who are left other war zones and took shelter in Kabul. So we need to see that there are a lot of human rights violations is going on, and that is why the people at large, they are at a great verge of being violated in such situations that are prevailing. The second one is the panic and rush for the passports and visas for those who fear for their lives from the Taliban and its sponsors. Now, obviously, a lot of people want to move out of the country, and if not at least country, they want to move out of Kabul. But in these situations, it has become practically impossible for them to get in touch with the authorities or to arrange for themselves the visas or the passports that they're looking forward to move to some other countries in order to save their lives from the terror of Taliban. And that is why this has created a great ruckus and chaos in the entire nation. And thirdly, the biggest losers out of these would turn out to be the women and the youth of the country, who were till now still able to enjoy some kinds of political, civic, economic, and human rights, along with some kinds of media freedoms and opportunities. But yes, of course, with the kind of ideology that Taliban has, it seems nearly to impossible that now the women and the youth in the country would be able to enjoy any kinds of rights in society. And this definitely is taking Afghanistan years ago, like decades ago, from the development that it had made from these many years since then. So let's understand that what actually motivated the United States to withdraw the troops, due to which this entire problem has actually increased in Taliban in Afghanistan. Now, friends, please understand here that we are not using the term that these problems started in Taliban. Rather, we are very carefully making use of the words that these problems have increased in Afghanistan, which means that even though the US troops, when they were there in Afghanistan, this tussle between the chosen or the electorally chosen government of Afghanistan and Taliban, it always persisted. But of course, we had a median over there, we had a mediator at that particular time, and that was the US. Now, since the US has moved, these problems have escalated to another level. Let's understand now in detail as to why or what motivated the United States to withdraw its troops from Afghanistan. So, after the end of the Cold War, it was never really very much considered, as Afghanistan was not no more of any kind of strategic importance. And apart from its $1 trillion investment, it never invested in the economy or attempted to integrate to its economic sphere, which means that more or less Afghanistan was taken only, primarily as a militarily important or strategical area or location, and nothing more than that. Because we can see that apart from $1 trillion investment that US had once done, it did not really venture into another kind of economic benefits that it could have given to Afghanistan, but it did not. Also, it did not invest in Afghan democracy as an antidote to the kind of Taliban religious fundamentalism that actually existed in terms of the extremism and terrorism. So, in a way, we can say that US was also not really very much interested in solving the problem of Afghanistan as such, but because of its own interest that it had in the area or in the region, it was just trying to mediate between the two parties. But now, since that interest has been lost by US, so it very quickly and very selfishly, maybe at this time we could call, seeing the situation which is prevailing in Afghanistan, it moved out. Now, why we're saying like this for the United States, because maybe it could have found some more appropriate methods or means through which it could have tried to maintain greater balance in Afghanistan and still could have managed to move out. But of course, evidently, that did not really happen. Also, we have discussed this previously, that what stake does India have in all this ruckus that is being created? So, Taliban have proclaimed that there will be no witch hunt that will actually respect transitional process, and that it will work for the future Islamic system that is acceptable to all. So, in a way, till now, maybe Taliban shows a little liberal approach, but that definitely stands upon on the future as to what does it hold for India Taliban or India Afghanistan relationships. Also, India should definitely keep its mind open, and also should wait and watch as to what they actually do during and after the transitional process, and also the access how they are accommodating the gains of the last 20 years. With this, let's discuss the second article for the day, which talks about the human development product. So, the author basically of this article has proposed that we should be calculating the human development product along with the gross domestic product. Now, I hope that till now you guys understand that what do we mean by the GDP or the gross domestic product. If you break it into smaller terms, we can simply say that GDP is what the economy of a country is. Basically, whatever the value of goods and services are produced in an economy in one given time, or basically it is said to be one whole year. So whatever is produced, the value of the goods that is produced within the territory of that country is known as the gross, that is in total, domestic, that is within the territory, and product means the value. So it says that when we are trying to calculate the GDP, or basically the economical strength of any country, it makes more sense if we also inculcate with itself the HDP, which is the human development product. Now, of course, when we are saying that maybe there is a chance that a country would be very good in its GDP, but still there would be no development or no growth going on. Now, here are some things that we need to understand. This actually is the debate which was also brought forward by Amartya Sen, wherein there was a debate between growth and development. See, what happens is that when we talk about the growth, economically we might be very strong, a very strong nation. We might have a lot of money in our hands, we might have a lot of foreign reserves in our hands, a lot of assets, etc. But can we say that this economical growth also completely and full-fledgedly guarantees the development of the people of the country? No. Yes, it might sound a bit erratic to you right now, but let me explain this to you in clear words. See, what happens is that when we're talking about the growth, we mean by this the economical or the growth in the terms of money. But when we talk about the development, here we mean the infrastructure, the quality of education, the quality of jobs that we have, the happiness that the people have, their health system, all of these things, their intellectual property, their intellect, their mind growth, their opportunities, all of these things are essential for the development of the humankind. You must see that there are a lot of countries that are there, like the Middle Eastern countries. They are very strong in economy, they are very strong economically, but still people lack the basic resources of education, health, etc., which means that they have grown economically, but their people have not developed in that sense. So in these situations, we need to understand that how much feasible is it to also inculcate HDP along with the GDP. So let's understand that why and how the HDP should be calculated. So the current data do not capture the stark inequalities and injustice across gender, caste, regions, etc. that we were just discussing about. So before the pandemic, the median household income was 15,000 per month, which means that if in a house of four people, one person had 150 rupees for one day. The bottom 25% of the households, like for which we have the 300 million households in the country, they live on an income of less than 8,500 per month, which is rupees 70 per person per day. So if we try about the calculation of HDP, that is the human development product, so these are the following components that form the HDP. The first one is the female labor force participation, that how many females are actually participating in the labor force of the country. Second is the gender income parity, that whether or not or how much are the men and women paid equally. Third, stunting amongst the children, which talks about the malnutrition that they might be facing. Fourthly, the water quality and availability. Fifthly, the quality of polity, that means how or what kinds of or what level of civil liberties and civil rights do we enjoy as the citizens. So all of these things actually, they make the ingredients of the human development product, and I think that this would quite much make a sense to be included in the GDP, so that we can understand that we are just not growing economically, rather our citizens are also growing or developing at the very same time. But of course, we need to have better indices and better methods of calculating these components of the human development product. So if we talk about the rank that India holds at the HDI, that is the Human Development Index, so India is at 131st position, and we have actually changed this. We have actually fallen from 2018 by 2 positions. And for that, and if we talk about the countries that India in nearby has, so Russia is on 52nd position, China is on 85th position, and Pakistan is on 154th position. So if you want to catch the podcast of this newspaper analysis, do not forget to follow us on Spotify, Google, Anchor, or even Apple Podcast. You can simply find Daily Newspaper Analysis by LawSikho, and you can subscribe to the channels over there. Also, if you wish to download the slides for today, or you want to avail other study material, you can join our Telegram channel. The link to this channel is available in the description box below, or you can scan the QR code that you can see on your screens right now. Also, for other crisp and amazing content, do not forget to follow us on our official Instagram channels for Judiciary, CLAT Prep, and UGC Net if you're preparing for any of these exams. Thank you so much.